Hello, my name is Harrison. Welcome, I guess, to my second YouTube video I've ever made. My first one I'll link in the description. So there's one or two people who commented and or private messaged me, I don't remember anymore, asking about transgender OCD theme, which is something I never heard of before. So I decided to Google it, and I have some thoughts about it. So let's give those thoughts, but first I just want to mention, of course, it's just my opinion, my own experiences. I could totally be wrong, or it might not be your truth, so that's no problem. Also, it's now, as I'm recording this, February 2020, so it's, I think, been about 2 years or so since I recorded my last video, so you can see that I have short hair now. And I'm at a friend's house. Anyway, we studied last night for class. Okay, so I like talking about this transgender OCD theme because it brings up another aspect of my thought I was transgender but I'm not, that I want to talk about, which is the spiritual component, which I'm going to get into. Hold on a second. Okay, so to my understanding, and I don't mean with anything I'm saying to belittle or demean or, minimize the pain or the suffering or experiences of OCD, people who have OCD. But what I want to say is that it sounds to me like the transgender OCD theme, and even based on the way it's worded, it sounds like OCD comes in many varieties and it can be about any topic conceivable. And so it just so happens that this particular OCD is about am I transgender or not. And the particular article on the website Medium that I read, and I'll be honest, it's just one article, that's like all the research that I did pretty much, and I don't know much about OCD aside from that. It could also be about obsessing over am I homosexual or not. And it's interesting that not all, but many of the people who have this thought are usually straight. So often if you are obsessing over whether you're homosexual or not, you're often straight, and often if you're obsessing over whether you're transgender or not, you're often not, which is the opposite of transgender is called cisgender. So that makes a lot of sense to me because as a closeted gay man, I knew I was gay, but I just couldn't come out. So I felt a lot of suffering at not being able to express my truth. Whereas a homosexual OCD theme is you're experiencing suffering over wondering whether you're gay or not, which was not me. I already knew it was. I just had to be comfortable with it. And same with the trans, well, kind of the trans thing. I knew I was feminine. I just had to be comfortable with it. So the next thing I want to state is, again, not to demean or minimize the experiences of OCD people. People with OCD, sorry, that sounded kind of rude, but I feel like my experiences with my gender dysphoria are, I would say, deeper, and I'm going to explain that, deeper than someone with OCD. I don't think I have OCD. I know there's like one or two people on my dad's side who have it, so I guess that means I could have it, but I don't think that's what it is. I might have a little bit of it now that I think about it, but I don't think I have it in regards to the transgender topic, because I feel that, and again, it's just my opinion, that a lot of people with OCD have it as a form of defense mechanism. Because there's something in their life, that's my phone, there's something in their life that isn't working well, or they feel disempowered about, and kind of like an addiction, addictions are, to my understanding, addictions are only there because there's some deficit in your life and you're trying to fill that hole, so to speak, with an addiction, which is the defense mechanism, the compensation, right? But if you had it's an ideal. If you had like a perfectly, in quotes, perfectly empowered life, and you had fantastic friends and family, and you felt a part of your community, and you were making a difference, and you had an abundance of money, and you didn't have worries, and you were in great health, and your family was in great health, and if you didn't have these worries or whatever your core stressor or trauma is, etc., then I don't think you would have such addiction. And I also think that people who are in that same way empowered wouldn't have OCD, to my understanding. I could be wrong about my understanding of how OCD works, but it sounds to me like it's a defense mechanism or a compensation, just like addictions are. And I know a tad more about addictions, only a tad more. Like I don't think I've really had one before. That's not like my poison, so to speak. That's not how I like, when I'm not doing well in life, how I end up degrading. It's not through addiction. So it's through paranoia and like self-reflective thoughts and that kind of thing, just to be clear on that. So what I'm saying is that I think in an ideal empowered world, people wouldn't have addictions or OCD about anything. So that's why. So let me just get this straight. However, I think that even in my own ideal empowered life, I would still be a feminine man. That's the difference. I think if you have an empowered life, a fully, truly empowered life, then these compensation measures would disappear. But my transgenderism-ish, and I say ish because I'm not exactly transgender. I explained that in the last video. I consider myself a feminine man. I'm a man with a lot of feminine traits, but not enough feminine traits or not enough femininity. I know that's a gray zone, but I'm not far along enough on the feminine spectrum that I feel like I'm actually trans and I want to transition that way. But it's still a huge part of me, and it's because no matter who you are, regardless of your taste, your religion, as long as you're human, you have a gender. Even if your gender is non-binary or it's intersex or it's some other combination of yin at one end and yang on the other end, and you're somewhere in the middle or to the extreme ends, whatever, you have a gender no matter what, right? So I feel like even in my ideal, most empowered life, I would still have some kind of transgender or gender bending theme in my life because that is my gender. My gender is of a feminine man. It is a little bit more feminine than the average man. That's just how it is. And that's a neutral thing to me. So I don't, so yes, so I don't think I obsess over my gender dysphoria. Sometimes it comes up and sometimes it's worse than other times, but I consider it in the realm of, you know, when you focus on something, right? And it's maybe something bad, maybe something, I wouldn't call gender dysphoria a trauma either, but for example, if you have a trauma, you spend a lot of time focusing on it, right? But just because you focus on your trauma doesn't mean you have OCD. It could just be that because it's a trauma you focus on. You think about it a lot and it brings up whatever unfortunate emotion for you and you experience suffering over it. So that happens for me sometimes with gender dysphoria, but it's not an OCD-like theme. I don't think so. And yes, I've thought about it a lot sometimes, and sometimes I have experienced a lot of suffering over it, and I used to obsess about it a lot more, but I don't think it's a transgender OCD theme. I don't think I have OCD, despite the one or two family members I can think of that do have it. I don't think I have it. Maybe I do, I'm not sure. But I just wanted to make this to explain the difference, in my opinion. And so the spirituality part, which I just also want to touch on for me, another reason that I don't think it's OCD, is because I think that I don't know how to word this well, so I'm going to just word it how it comes to me, and people can take it out of the context, whatever. I think I was destined to come to this earth to be a trans-esque, a feminine man kind of person. I really resonate with the term starseed. Those who know what that is will like, hey, we get each other, hello. And I also am an empath. I'm an INFJ. I'm a sensitive person. I'm a, what's it called, HSP, highly sensitive person. These are all labels that might mean nothing to you, or it might like give you relief to know that, hey, there's another person like this. But HSP means highly sensitive person. It has a biological basis more than just like a self-Tumblr label type thing. And so I believe that part of that sensitivity and that like soul nature of why I'm here on earth is to express the masculine and the feminine, and to help people who are mostly male and people who are mostly female come together, because I find I understand them quite well with that mix that's within myself. So again, that's another reason that I don't think it's a transgender OCD theme, because I think it's much deeper than OCD. I think it's a core part of who I am. And I came to this earth in part to express a masculine and a feminine in a balanced way within myself as best as I can, because of course I struggle with it sometimes, being human. And that journey of being a feminine man is going to bring me somewhere. It's going to allow me to do something that other people can't, because they don't come from this place. And I don't know what that is yet. I'm only 24 as of this video, so I don't know what's coming in my life. But I have a feeling that it's a key part. And so I was given this trait on purpose. So that's not an OCD thing. And for some people, maybe OCD is a key part of their life too. It's going to bring about something great. But anyway, yeah, for me, I'm going to be a feminine man, I think, for the rest of my life. Maybe not, I don't know, but I think I am. And my journey is to become okay with it, and then to go on from there to create something that is really powerful from this viewpoint. Something like that. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I welcome what people have to say about it, and I will see you guys later, I guess. Okay, bye.